Alright guys, I am making this video as a request, kind of. A gentleman had messaged me on Facebook and said, and I won't say his name because obviously I don't want to put him on blast, but he said, I'm 300 pounds to, excuse me, 6 foot 300 pounds, and is the Challenger the plane for me? So I kind of wanted to make this video because of that. Number two, I wanted to show you guys the new setup where I'm at, Vakamu. Inside the hangar's kind of dirty right now. This hangar's kind of been used as a storage facility for stuff that sorry, the screen goes off and I can't see. A storage facility for stuff that's kind of been sitting around, so hopefully we'll get some of that moved around, and then we'll get Wayne's plane in here, and then we'll probably have a yellow Challenger 1 back there, and then my Challenger 2 here. And again, Wayne has that Challenger that's on the picture in the Facebook group, so that'll be pretty cool. Really quick, before we talk about the weight, I want to show you guys this plane. Right now there is a little bit of a grasshopper situation, but it's seasonal, so it should go away soon. Right now there's just these 3 hangars. Carlos is the owner. He has his Wilga in that hangar, and then obviously me and Wayne will be in this hangar, and then this hangar has an RV in it. When I first moved my plane, that RV was over here. The guy's really cool. He ended up moving it over there. This is more like the FBO, although there's not really an FBO here. That's a private field, but this has like a little living quarters in it, and this place has solar power, so obviously we don't have like an abundance of power right now. If I end up coming out to do work on the plane, I'll definitely use my generator. It's got that really cool bull, and I'll show you guys that. All right, so here's kind of one of the cool things about Vakamu, what Carlos has done. This is a wind sock, basically like a wind vane. It's not 100% accurate right now. It's still a work in progress. He has to put like a thing on the back so that it, you know, pushes it the right direction. But you know, you see it moves and it goes with the wind. One day that'll be 100% accurate. Windsock is out here. It's kind of on the north side of the field, like just on the north side. That's 1836 coming this way. Vakamu is 2,500 foot runway, and the power lines are not, you know, they, again, if you watch my video from when I flew into Vakamu, they are there. They're tall, but they honestly are zero factor when you're landing. If you look over here, they're not even taller than this tree line. This tree line's taller than those. So I just act like there's trees there. But 2,500 feet, no obstructions really. I love this place because everywhere outside of the property is fields. So if you are, you know, obviously with planes like the Challenger, or any plane, any plane you would fly, we always want to factor in what we would do in an emergency, and having fields everywhere is a safety net for me. Down in Jacksonville, Cherokee County, I did not have any of those. There were some, but you had to leave the airport. You know, it's not like on takeoff you had to try to do the impossible turn or just push the nose into the ground and hope for the best. Here there are fields, you know, people's crops and stuff, so obviously we don't want to be in them, but they are an option, which makes things really nice. But yeah, it's a beautiful place. As you can see, there are some grasshoppers in this part, but again, they're seasonal and they only stay on like the tall grass. You can see he had a bunch of hay bales made. I've been here before and other times of the season, and there wasn't anything here. There was no crickets. So I've landed here a couple times now and never had a cricket hit the plane. Or what am I saying, cricket? Grasshopper. I've never had a grasshopper hit the plane until I was taxiing in. Then you see a few of them, you know. It's definitely more of an issue towards the house. So if you're driving with your windows down in your car, you might get a couple of them, little stragglers. I did today, but out here, not really an issue. And again, it's seasonal. They'll be gone. So let me head back to here. I'll give you guys a view from over here. Dang it. Okay, here we go. And you know, Vakamu again is a private strip. Go on ForeFlight and you look up, I think it's TA37. I'll have to look and verify that, but Carlos's number is on there, and you can call him and get permission to come here. Or if you're flying over, get on 123.0 and radio in and see if anybody's here. And if he is, I'm sure he'll give you permission. He loves having visitors, so, but definitely reach out to him first. One of my hopes is, you know, you look at how spacious this place is. One of my hopes is that one day we can do you know, some type of fly-ins. I've been trying to get the guys down in Jacksonville to do their coffee fly-in here, so we'll figure it out. But anyways, I'm gonna get back to the plane and talk about being fat. Also, I wanted to point out, you know, when I came here today, it said it was 3 miles an hour of wind. It is definitely more, and it's odd because it's coming from the northeast, where normally it's coming from the south. It's been like 105 lately, and today it's going to be like 93. Density altitude is something that plays big into obviously anything you're flying, and it really affects a Challenger too. So lately when it's been 105 or 103, the density altitude's been almost 4,000 feet. Right now it is 1,400 feet, so it's really low today. If you're looking to get into planes like the Challenger or, you know, any type of aviation, you really need to learn about density altitude because plays a huge factor into what you do. Obviously, if you have a 2-seat version, you have to have a pilot's license or a sport license, which means you're going to receive that training. So, but if you have a single-seat version, like Wayne's, you know, Wayne's doesn't have this. It's just right here forward, and he has a little smaller engine and a smaller gas tank. Then you can fly that without a license. However, without a license is one thing, but without training is another. You should never fly an ultralight or an airplane without some training. I am not a CFI yet. So even like with Wayne, you know, Wayne's going to be newer to flying, and I'm not going to train him. Now he's asked me questions about flying this one, and I will answer those questions, but I can't be a CFI because I'm not a CFI. So he will have to receive some type of training, fly his airplane. Now I'm going to be the one to fly his airplane to make sure it's operational and everything. I will probably tell him, too close. I will probably tell him in my opinion, its characteristics. I'll probably say, hey, just so you know, you have to use the right rudder more or whatever. And of course we have some trim tabs on our planes so we can adjust those if need be. But you know, all these planes are different. Let's talk about weight. So my airplane is a little bit more tail heavy than it is nose heavy. I am, to give you an idea, I'm 5'9", so I'm average height. I am 255 pounds right now. I just weighed myself this morning. I was 270 a couple weeks ago, so I'm down 15 pounds. I didn't know I got that high. So once I got on the scale and realized I was 270, I said, nope, no more. And then I started intermittent fasting, which is the one, I've been doing like 1 meal a day at like from noon to 1, just whatever I can eat. I've tried making it carnivore lately, so just eating like meat and eggs and stuff. But even at 255, the nose comes down, you know, but it will bounce if I do something without the engine on. I'm probably a little heavy in the tail. So if I was a skinny guy, I would be putting some weights up here. I know some people who have put like 20-pound weights in here. I don't know them personally, I've just seen them. But obviously weight distribution is an issue when you have an airplane like the Challenger, so you definitely need to take that into consideration. To answer your question, can you be overweight and fly this airplane? Well, obviously I'm 255, and I would say if there is a weight for the front seat, I think it's 240. I have a checklist here, hold on. So this is definitely not, listen, when I bought my Challenger, they gave me, the guy gave me this checklist. This is probably the one he got, or maybe a friend who had a Challenger like this gave this to him. This is definitely not the one from the factory. This is a custom one. Let me show you why. It says max gross weight 1,050, and it says the basic empty weight. And of course you see that tail number, that's not my tail number. So this was from a Challenger 2, just not from this Challenger 2. Now, I have another one, and I have all my specs in my iPad, so I don't actually use this. I just brought this to the airport for this video so I could show you guys. My assumption is when you install the heavy lift kit and stuff that, you know, obviously the heavy lift kit maybe is saying, hey, you can have that gross, but that is not the legal gross. Let me show you here. So back here, you will see your information right here, and it says Challenger 2. I'm sure people are like, don't show people that, but I don't care. So it says here, the empty weight 432 and your gross weight 960. So horsepower about 50. So that's what you have to go off of. That's the weight that you have. Now, that's the weight of the airplane when it was placard or whatever, when they made the placard. I'm assuming now it's adjusted a little bit. I estimated at 465. So the total gross is 960. You minus 465 pounds. Then that leaves you 495 pounds. Then you minus 60 for your fuel, because there's a 10-gallon tank back there. 6 pounds a gallon at 10 gallons, 60 roughly. I'm sure it's probably not 100% accurate. And then that's 435, and I am 255 pounds, which means that I can have a passenger of 180 pounds right now. I have done that, but you can't do that during the summertime, high density altitude. You can't, not for multiple reasons. Your engine's working hard, the density altitude, the plane just, if you don't know what density altitude is, you should definitely do a YouTube search and watch some scientific videos. But essentially, the higher altitude you are, the harder it is for a plane to fly. The air's thinner. When it's really, really hot outside, the density altitude raises. I'm trying to get to where I can see what's going on. The density altitude raises in the background. There we go. And it makes it harder for the plane to achieve flight. The molecules are not as well. Just go watch a video on it. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a CFI. I'm not trying to explain all that to you. The moral of the story is you have to take it into consideration on any airplane, but an airplane like this, definitely a good idea to do it. So can you be large and fly this plane? Yes. You saw I have plenty of room for a 180 pound passenger. Some other stuff to take into consideration if you are large. So I'm 5'9". This box is gonna be moved. This box drives me nuts. The guy I got this from wasn't super tall either. He's probably my height or shorter. So this does touch, I can feel this on my head. So this box is gonna be moved to this bracket back here. And this is just my intercom, so you can plug in the passenger and the pilot. So this will be moved, and that'll give me a little bit more headroom, and that way I can move my head back and forth a lot without worrying about hitting it. Also, I think that when I get close to this with my headset, I do feel like it causes a little bit of interference. So I'm gonna move that back here at some point in time. I gotta pull all these off and do that. But anyways, so yeah, I fit in there just fine. I fit in here beautifully. My knees don't get anywhere near the dash or the panel. But Wayne sat in here the other day. Wayne is probably 6'5" or more, and his knees, he's definitely, there's some adjustments that would have to be made. The iPad would have to be higher. So I let him sit in there just to see what it was like. But yeah, and then obviously the seats aren't the most comfortable. I have this is a hard seat in front, but the back seat still has so it's not like a hard seat, so whoever sits in back kind of swoops down. Anyway, that's besides the point. To answer your question, yes, you can be plus sized and have a Challenger. If you're buying a Challenger 2 and you're like a pilot already and you're gonna go fly it and learn in it and stuff, check it for its weights. Because I actually saw a situation where a guy had bought a Challenger, he was a bigger guy, and it turns out in the front here, up from the inside, there were actually workout plates, like a 10 and a 10 or something, like 20 more pounds of nose weight. And this guy was heavier already. So now he had his weight too far forward, but he just looked in there and found it, and he could take that out. Challenger says I believe, again, I'm not a CFI, I'm not a Challenger representative or anything, but I believe the front seat weight capacity is 250. On this, it says 225. But that's obviously not true. In my airplane, 225 barely takes the nose down. The nose would still be you would still be bouncing up here. So I don't think that's true. Like I said, I'm 255. This thing flies beautifully with me, and it trims out beautifully. It climbs out like a madman. So I can't imagine that's accurate. But follow what your checklist says, or what your POH says, or whatever you have for your plane. Follow it, because that's what we should do in aviation. There's a reason that is designed. All these planes, although they're all built the same, they might have different characteristics. I was just talking to Mike the other day. He has a channel too, and I can't think of the name right now. Mike, I'll shout you out in a later video. But he was having a lot of yaw, and so his foot was getting numb when he was flying, which I've actually had happen too in this airplane. When I first started flying the Challenger, my right foot was going numb all the time. Ignore these, I've got to fix those. But we have this trim tab here on the rudder, and so basically I was telling them, I'm like, you just need to push that, you know, bend it out more, so that you're not putting as much pressure on your right foot, trying to keep the rudder over to the right. The other thing you can do too is, obviously there are some adjustments that can be made here and in the cockpit. I've never had to make any. This plane's been dialed in. So to answer your question, yes, the guy who messaged me, and maybe anybody else who's watching this YouTube video, a Challenger is good for fat people. And as you've seen from my the beginning of this video, the little thing you clicked on to watch this video, even Peter Griffin can get away with flying this plane. Is it going to be the most comfortable thing? I think it's comfortable. I'm going to be replacing some of this at some point in time. I got a lot of things I want to do to the plane, and obviously it's, you know, time consuming and expensive, but this is actually out of the Kitfox, Ray's Kitfox, and so this is giving me a little bit more pad in my back, and because my legs are shorter than my torso, it puts me further forward. But yeah, so it's not super comfortable for long trips. Like, you know, I've sat in the plane for an hour or more, and by the time I'm done, my butt is kind of like hurts my lower back butt. So I need to get that figured out. But yeah, you can fit in here, and you see, like, okay, hey, one more thing. Let's talk about this. Sorry, here I am again. If you are a large person and you are buying a Challenger 2, you must have the third door installed, or it needs to already be on there. Because Challengers from the factory come with this as part of this. So that means it's stuck here. So trying to figure out a way to manipulate your body to get in there is difficult. And I've seen people, they'll sit back here, they'll hold on to this, they reach in and they grab onto this here. Let's see if I can see that. Yeah, reach in and they grab onto these. Very difficult. So if you're buying a Challenger 2, make sure that that's already been done. Most of them are already done because people realize how much more convenient it is to be able to get in this way. But if it hasn't been done, just know that you can do this. You can have this installed. So anyways, no flying in this video. This is just an informational video only. Again, I'm not a CFI. I'm just a Challenger guy. I love them. And also, if you are in the Texas area, or actually anywhere for that sake, and you are buying a Challenger 2, and you're like, well, I need to get it from point A to point B so that I can start my training or whatever. Or if you're a pilot and you're just not comfortable flying the Challenger 2 yet, hit me up. I'll gladly join somebody and help them fly their airplane back for them. I just like to get the flight time. I think it's awesome. Yeah, and trips are fun. And I would, you know, video them and make content with it. So same thing with other airplanes. You know, I have lots of time in Quicksilver, you know, things like that. If you have something like that you want moved or need help with, I'll gladly make a YouTube video with it. So just message me on here or message me on Facebook. I have on the Challenger page, like if you go to the Challenger group on Facebook, my name is John Jernigan, and I'm on there a lot. You'll see this airplane on there a lot because I always post the thumbnails in my videos. They've been really supportive on there. Challenger community has been great. Obviously, like anything else, I have people who are annoying. They're few and far between, and a few times that things have happened, the people in the group put them in their place, so that's appreciated. So if you haven't yet, like, subscribe, share, send this to your fat pilot friends. And by the way, I'm uniquely qualified to talk about this because I currently am fat, so don't you dare hate on me on here. Now in, you know, 6 months, if I'm way skinnier, then this could be looked at negatively, but I did it while I was fat, so you see, look at how fat I am. So, all right, like, share, subscribe. One more thing, guys. I just told you guys I've been doing 1 meal a day OMAD diet, trying to go carnivore, trying to lose the weight. I was about to fly because the wind's not too bad out of the north, but what happened was I went to go pull my chalk and I had to bend over to do that, and I was using my foot and then I kind of moved it out of the way. And I realized that I'm kind of lightheaded. So I'm going to make tomorrow's supposed to be the most beautiful flying day. It's supposed to be beautiful, beautiful. I'm gonna do a lot of flying tomorrow, probably a couple hours, 3 or 4 hours, hopefully. So instead of doing a quick flight today, I was gonna do a little hour flight. I think I'm going to go home and eat and then reassess whether I wanna fly later on or not. I am not sick, I am just doing OMAD. And it is not smart to jump in this thing or any aircraft if there is even one doubt in your mind that something's not 100% on, you make the decision not to fly. You don't get there-itis, which I'm not trying to get anywhere, but the urge to fly is so high for me that it's literally all I think about. I dream about it. Other than my kids, I think about flying. That's pretty much it. So just thought I'd add this in at the end. Be responsible. If you don't feel right, don't go fly. It's also part of your training if you become a pilot. It's a whole thing. So make good decisions.